There'll be the view of the shower curtain or something like that, and I'll be like, oh! Welcome once again to Chill Filter, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to, but you probably should. You probably are. Hey, that's why we like you. You know who started that whole thing? It was Robbie. He's like that. Hey, you probably should. You probably are. That's why we like
cool.
You.
Knowing Robbie, I'm sure that happened super authentic too. He was probably
yeah. And then he just kept with it.
Yeah.
Here's some business we're going to get to before we get into the actual podcast today. Hit us up. We've had a lot of people hit us up this week on Instagram, and we want that to continue. Don't stop the momentum. If you haven't reached out to us on Instagram and you're just like, I like these guys, I'm hooked after 4 episodes, and I want to get to know these guys, hit us up, and we'll shout you out or something like that. Like, who knows? We might have a great time. So That's the business this week. Hit us up on Instagram. We love talking, especially about whiskey. And that's the business. So, Bryan, how you doing?
I'm good. I had some work buddies over last night for a little whiskey night. It's work buddies that we've been, chatting about whiskey a little bit here and there, being on a work trip and sharing a bottle and getting old fashions and stuff like that. And so I had a couple guys over and got to, share a bunch of my random stuff with them. And it's funny how, things like come up in conversation where, we're talking about something and they mentioned something about some bottle and I'm like, hold please, and I can go run and grab something and be like, have you tried this? And then one of the guys brought a pecan pie, which was amazing. And
I was like, the Garrison brothers.
Exactly. Yes, 100%. So we something about pecans and I was like, it would go perfectly with this. And so busted out the cowboy so they could try some hazmat and everything. So it was good stuff. Good times.
You could scare them away from whiskey for good.
I know. Yeah, right. Made sure that was one of the later pours of the evening.
Yeah, for sure. That's when you get an Uber after that pour.
I know, right? Yeah. Hopefully they all did all right, I guess.
I went out recently with one of our at least Instagram followers. His name's Kyle. He's out in Richmond area.
Oh, cool.
We went to the bar I used to work at, and we go way back, me and Kyle. And so basically I was like, it's on me tonight. They're going to take care of me either way, as Floyd always does. Shout out to Floyd.
Definitely. He's taking care of me too.
In Richmond, Virginia. But anyway, we had, what did we finish with? We had a little bit of everything. We had another Colila, independent bottling. We had Lafroig. What was it? It was the Cardaeus, the recent Cardaeus release. We had some good stuff. I can't even remember. It wasn't that crazy a night, but we just were going through left and right. And then me and Kyle were like, you want to just go for a walk around the block before we drive home? And I'm like, yes. I basically brought that up. He's like, yes. And so we walked around the block and I'm like, I'm good.
90 minutes later.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's happened. My friend Trevor and I, when we lived in Colorado Springs, we used to go to this steakhouse called Mackenzie's. And Mackenzie's is where I had Eagle Rare 17 for the first time for $8 a pour, which is insane, unbelievable. They charged on their menu, it was like 25 a pour, but they were just charged us $8, which is no one even charges $8 for in the whole country. No one would charge $8 for the Eagle Rare 10.
Yeah,
he was charging us $8 for Eagle Rare 17, 2014 vintage, which I got on my shelf. But one night we went there and we had stag or not stag. We had I remember one night me and my friend Trevor went there and we got Handy and Saz 18 and a few other things. And we were like, let's just do a few laps around the total Colorado Springs downtown until we were down to go home. And we felt good enough to go home. Had a lot of water for the record.
That's cool. Yeah, anyway, nice.
Yeah. So we did that the other day, and I made it home just fine. No issues whatsoever.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
You always want to play it safe and never drink and drive.
That's true.
Yeah. and never
That's true.
drink inebriated to any extent. You should be
Now,
on your game.
I don't know if you want me bringing this up, but I'm doing it
Bring it
anyway
up.
because this is what we do.
This is what we do. We're
Have you talked
real.
about your exam yet on the show? I don't
Oh,
think
I
so.
don't think so. No. Okay. So I will talk about it. I did about as well as I thought I would, which is not great. But studying through this time and picking up studying again tomorrow, basically,
Nice.
and gonna take down this exam and put it in a chokehold in May. So that's my
May.
thoughts
Okay, yeah.
on
6
movies.
months. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Hmm.
Nice.
Um.
When
So
will
what
you
else is
hear
going on?
results?
6 to 8 weeks. Usually it's like
Okay.
7 or 8 weeks. Yeah.
So you've
Mhm.
got 5 or 6 weeks to go till you find out just
Till I
how.
find out I failed. Yeah. Mhm.
It's okay. I like the
Yeah.
expectations. So yeah, that good
Mhm.
to have your expectations set, and hopefully you
It'd be
end up
crazy.
surprised. Yeah.
This specific exam is some free like form answer, but not like free form. It's like write in your number answer. But
Ah.
a good amount of this exam is multiple choice.
Oh
So if
wow.
somehow, some way, my multiple choice guessing was like on point that day, maybe I
Yeah.
will pass. Who knows?
Maybe.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, just take it again in May, and that's okay.
Yeah. Totally.
Um, so 2 things are on my mind. First thing is, what is your entry buzz today?
Ah, yes. Very good. My entry buzz is
Mhm, mhm,
whew,
mhm.
Maker's Mark Lost
Wish.
Recipe.
Okay.
Yeah. So
The lost oh, no, no. What's the version, the one
this is the
batch?
first batch of their Lost Recipe
Yeah, it's
series.
the one you were loving on. And what will be
Yes.
on our future drink along
Oh,
coming up?
yeah, that's
I'm just
right.
gonna
Yeah, yeah.
tease that one.
Yeah,
Ooh,
this is just impressive.
nice.
I kind of stopped buying Maker's Mark for a while because it seemed like all Maker's Mark was just Maker's Mark.
Mhm.
But then I think it was David brown bagged this, or somebody
Nice.
brought it over to my house one time, got to try it without knowing what it
Babinski.
was.
Yeah,
And yeah, it just like blew my mind. That
yeah.
oh yeah, that's what it was. We did a blind with this and like some cellar aged and stuff. And
Nice.
we
And this
like
one.
3 out of the 4 of us ended up choosing this, so I figured it was gonna be the
Wow.
perfect thing to drink side by side with, like, knowing what
Cool.
it is today, it'll be good
Yeah,
to, check myself and see how I really feel about it and everything, but this, I
yeah.
tell you, has one of the most chocolate-covered cherry noses I've ever
Love it.
smelled. Yeah.
Love chocolate covered cherry. I could eat chocolate covered cherry all day.
Yeah.
I personally am also entry buzzing on a Maker's Mark product. Surprisingly, so this was a Christmas gift years ago from Sean Ciaro,
Mm.
our good Philadelphian friend. Um,
Who also hit
he,
us up on Instagram this week.
hey, yeah, he did. What a baller! Love that guy. Anyway, he sent this years ago, and I said to myself, I'm not going to open it until we do an episode on it. But then we started having so many different bottles available, so I never did an episode
Yeah.
on it. And I don't even think I added it to our pool yet. Actually, I know we didn't. So the funny thing is, to this day, I think I sent Robbie originally a sample of this. That's
Yeah.
the only reason it's open. But I've never drank it until today, and it's actually
Nice.
really good. My only complaint is it's sugary. Like I almost feel when you have too much sugar and you feel like drained by it. I kind of
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
this is so sugary that I kind of feel like drained by it. Like I feel like
Yeah.
ugh.
I
But
get,
the
like,
first
pit in my
first
stomach, like,
yeah,
too
like the
much
first
sugar, like a rock. Ugh.
yeah. It's well, it's not that bad. But it's just like, "Oh, man, this is sugary," which is good. I
Nice.
mean, they basically say they have a few their save profile is baked American pure, I don't know what that means, 2 baked American pure, 2 seared French cuvee, 1 Maker's Mark 46 stave, 3 roasted French mocha staves, whatever that means, and 2 toasted French spice staves. This is a private selection from the Good Wines and Fine Spirits, or Fine Wine and Good Spirits from Pennsylvania.
Nice.
Thank you, Sean, because this is
So you
actually
said it
really
was
good.
22132. Is that what you said?
That is correct. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
And it's good stuff, but it's honestly, like, it got worse as I went, but the first glass of it was great. But it's kind of like me in Woodford Reserve. It's like the more I drink it, the less I like it. But I like the first sip of Woodford.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I guess I
this
haven't had
beats
Woodford in
Woodford any
forever.
day, for the record.
Yeah. Woodford used to be my, like, if I'm at a bar where that's like basically that level is all they have, like Woodford is my choice in a situation like that. But at least, like what I said about
What
Makers
if they have
earlier,
Makers versus Woodford?
I'd probably go Makers. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but most bars have Makers. So anyway, I don't know. It's been forever since I had Woodford anyway. But me saying like, yeah, Makers is Makers. Like it's still good. Like it's definitely
I could
solid.
drink Makers standard any day.
It's just there's not much usually about it that wows me.
Yeah, but if it's between that, Jim Beam, and Woodford, I'm going Makers any day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I just remembered is a certain someone upgraded their Patreon membership.
Oh yeah, what a baller! No, bring it on. Tell me about this masculine man that reminds me of Paul Hogan.
Huge shout out to my father-in-law, Jim Mathwig. Thank you very much. Increased his support. What is it? The Flask tier now?
Yeah, he moved up to the Flask tier. 10 to 25.
Oh yeah. How am I not dinging already here? Yeah. Man, thank you so much, Jim.
So much.
Yeah.
And now that I know Jim Mathwig, I feel even better because that dude's a baller. So
yeah, now you know that all your statements about just how gorgeous of a Patreon subscriber he is are true.
No wonder you married his daughter.
I know, right? Where did she get it all? No, I say that, but dude, Sam looks exactly like
she looks a lot like her mom.
Mom, grandma. Like I know I've said this before, but I've seen photos of her grandma when her grandma was like 22, and it's like, hey, look, there's Sam.
Really? That's funny. But Jim had a lot to do with it too.
That's true. I'm sure. Yeah. Approximately 50%, probably.
Yeah. About. It's funny. Like genetically, you can't exactly say 50% because they're the dominant and recessive traits. So it's like it could be 50%. Theoretically, it would be 50%.
Yeah.
But let's say you got like really black hair and you got really brown eyes and all these different things that dominate on the gene traits. But don't get me started on Punnett squares in this podcast.
Oh boy, that's a long time for me, but I think I know. Is that where you do the dominant and recessive, and then there's like different in the box there?
Get me started.
Speaking of eyes, though, we did have the doctor tell us that like statistically, if Emma's eyes were gonna go like brown, statistically they would have begun to change by now, and there's still this like ocean blue color, and she was wearing a green shirt the other day, and so her eyes looked a little green, which is what mine do. Like if I'm wearing green, my eyes look a little green, and if I'm wearing blue, my eyes look blue. So we think that she's still very like light hair color. Not sure if it's blonde, not sure if it's red, but anyway, she's pretty cute.
She is cute. And she's a big girl, like not in a bad way at all. Like she's just a tall girl.
Man, I should look up the chart.
5 months or something like that.
The height weight charts. She's just past 4 months now, and she's 16 point something pounds, which I'm sure is still, like probably 80th percentile or somewhere right around there. Yeah, she's she's chunky, but in a good way. In a good way.
She isn't even chunky. Like she doesn't really have rolls.
She's very, very tall.
Big girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing bad about a roly girl, you know what I'm saying? That sounds so weird. I'm talking about babies.
Yeah, right.
So okay, I got a story this week. Okay, so Gray went in for her like year and 3 months, or whatever. Yeah, just about year and 3 months, year and 4 months. Gray was born at full term, like 37, 38 weeks. She was born at 4 pounds, 3 ounces. The doctors were concerned. She was
To say the
born at
least.
to say the least. Um, she was less than first percentile at birth weight, and now she is like 52nd percentile for her
Yeah.
age, which is
Nice.
amazing. So she eats
Yeah.
so good. She's a big
Good.
girl. She's bigger than Beck was at her age already.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy I got a baby that is above the median.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
she's great. Yeah.
Nice. You know
Um,
what? I feel like I
what's
never
up?
hear about Heather. How's Heather doing?
She's good. Let me think about that. She's a pro, and she's a sport about what's going on lately, which I'm gonna hijack that question and say she is a great wife because she puts up with me. Um, so right now I'm in the throes
Doghouse.
of what's that?
I
No,
said
not the
doghouse.
doghouse. No, I am in the depths and the trenches of making jewelry for another Christmas market.
Yeah.
And so I have to put in like multiple hours a day typically after work and on the weekends and stuff like that. Um, so she's such a sport to put up with me for that because like it's a lot of time. She's got to take care of the kids a little more for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I gotta put everything forward. So this is my first market that is like not manned by me. So they're basically like, hey, we're gonna do a market for like 3 or 4 weeks, and we'll man it ourselves. You just bring your stuff, and we'll give you a cut, or we'll take a cut, like 20% cut.
Wow.
Um, this is normally I'll like man it and just pay a fee for the booth.
Right.
But I have a good feeling about this year, and I've already put
Nice.
together like probably somewhere near like 60 to 80 rings already, let alone pendants and
Dang.
earrings and stuff like that.
Very cool.
So yeah, Heather is amazing. She's a great wife, and she is she's just chugging through. She's a good mama, that's for sure. Whether
So
it's me
the
busy or not. Yeah.
temporarily increased workload.
Yeah.
So how do you make up for this after the fact? Does Heather get a massage at a massage envy or
Probably
something or
something
what?
like that,
Yeah.
because if things go the way I hope they go, I will make a good profit off of this
Yeah.
show or
Nice.
this market. And if I do get a good profit off this market, like I remember the first market I ever did in Richmond was like very profitable, and I made a few good grands, and I told Heather, I'm like, and this was before kids, I was like, for helping me and putting up with me and all this stuff, I'll give you like 10%.
Yeah.
So I gave her like 10% of the profit I made.
Nice.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do that in terms of actual money these days. I'd probably do something like a massage or something like that if I am
Yeah.
very, very profitable.
Cool. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
that's nice.
Yep.
Oh, and lastly,
Uh-huh.
Thanksgiving's coming up.
Yeah.
Fun Thanksgiving plans? Anything out of the ordinary?
Just the standard Virginia Thanksgiving is uh spending time with my wife's family and extended family, but I bring in the pies. And I'm the pie guy. So like I bring
Nice.
in like apple pie, pecan pie, cheesecake, and maybe one other. This year I'm thinking of doing a chess pie. Look it up.
Don't even know.
Yeah, but I'm hoping to nail it this year. And so I take pies very seriously, probably too seriously. Yeah.
I tried to Google chess pie and it
Mhm.
automatically populated chess pieces. Like I was like
Yep. Mhm.
PIE enter and it
Yep.
was like chess pieces.
Nope. Chess pie.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
looking
it's
at it
like a
now.
Kentucky thing. I want to
Milk
say it's like,
cornmeal.
yeah,
Wow.
and a little bit of vinegar always. Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I want to like my here's my thing. When it comes to a few things in life, I go hard. One of those things is pie. Like I take pie so seriously. I'm like best
Awesome.
crust, best like pie ever. I win competitions when I
That's
can.
what I was gonna say. I thought I
Yeah.
knew that. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. And like I like have to find the best recipes for whatever pie it is I'm making.
Nice.
Shout out to seriouseats.com. They have great baking resources. So
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, so that's been my life. I turn in my jewelry pieces next weekend.
Cool.
And if I need to, and if they do really well, I will be able to replenish them over the next 4 weeks after that. So
Like during the show replenish? Is that
yeah,
what you
during the
mean?
market.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I see that like certain pieces are flying out the door, I can replenish those in the meantime.
Cool.
That's good.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Mhm.
What do you say we get into history and start drinking this stuff?
Literally what I was just about to say. So let's
What do
send
you
it a break.
say?
We'll take a quick walk, and we'll be right back after this quick break. All right, we're back. And we are going to be drinking today, as we mentioned. Maybe we didn't mention it. We are drinking Maker's Mark Cellar Aged. But if you don't know what we're drinking by now, I have no idea how you don't know what we're drinking by now, because you
Yeah,
clicked
yeah.
on this episode with Maker's Mark Cellar Aged in the name, specifically the 2024. But before we do anything, I really wanted to read something. I looked at my notes from the last Cellar Aged episode, and I gave this as the notes to get to before the episode. Sadly, last Maker's Mark Cellar Aged episode was Robbie's last episode. But I wrote this as the intro, and I think you'll like this. It says, "Few shout outs to this week to one baller in particular, to Bryan Rapp for 5 things total. One, for being crucial to me finding a bottle of Eagle Rare 17 from
Oh, cool.
2014. I was able to trade a few bottles for it, and I am stoked. It's so beautiful. Secondly, he also tipped us off to a whiskey company who will be featuring soon and having one of the founders on. Stay tuned. That was Found North.
Yes.
Thirdly, for sending us each a 5-bottle package via courier recently. Fourth, for providing the sample we're drinking today. And fifth, last but not least, setting up our Chill Filter Discord group. We'll first be sending out the details to Patreon members hopefully this week. What a baller is what I said
God,
last time we did.
what a try hard, man. Jeez, this
Yeah,
guy.
it paid off.
Does he even have a life? I mean, come on.
Yeah, he's just sending free whiskey left and right. So reminder as always, Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat. So that means 2 things. Secret Sampla coming up. We'll be talking about that a little bit more later. If you're interested in doing a sample share Secret Santa, keep an ear out for the What Whiskey Would You Choose segment of our show, or just keep an eye on our Instagram. Secret Sampla is that simply. It is a sharing of samples in a Secret Santa kind of way. We have categories to fit. It was a huge success last year. We're hoping it continues to be a huge success this year. We know it will be. And then secondly, we do gifts for the podcast. We do it every year. We've been doing it since the beginning. Bryan and I both share gifts with each other, but we also accept gifts from our listeners. Sounds weird, but hey, there's something in it for you. First off, so if you send us a gift, like me or Bryan or both, you are put in the runnings. First runnings is for the best gift we got this year. For me, the gift for the best gift we got this year is a Yamazaki 12 year. That's about a $200 value these days. What is yours, Bryan?
For me, the number one best gift we'll receive.
Uh-huh. Ooh, is that batch 8?
Found North batch 8, the
That's
Madeira
potentially
finished.
my favorite batch, actually.
You should
I
give
should
me a
send you a
gift then,
gift.
Cole.
Yeah. Pretend it's someone else.
Yeah, can you imagine? We do the random spinner and it's like,
funny.
oh, cool one.
Yeah,
wow, what a coincidence.
That would be hilarious. And then we're going to be giving a gift for a random gifter. So if you're not like going hard on a gift, but you send us a Bush's Baked Beans hat or something like that, which someone has done, Sean Sierra has done in the past, you get a random opportunity to win the random bottle, which in this case for Cole is Elmer T. Lee. What is yours,
And
Bryan?
Bryan's random bottle, I forgot to grab one so I could hold it up for the camera, but Bryan's random bottle will be a stag. There's one right over my shoulder right here. A couple different options, so whoever ends up winning that stag, I'll reach out and ask you if you want a 23B or C or 24A or whatever. Whatever I've got is on the table, so I'll let you know.
Yep, and we got a random spinner to do that. And then we actually decided to upgrade it this year even more. If we get more than 6 gifts this year, if we get 7 or more gifts per person, each, like if Cole gets 7 gifts, he puts on the table E.H. Taylor straight rye for another random gifter.
Yep. And then below that threshold though, 5. If the number of gifters is 5 or more, then Weller 12 is on the table as well.
12,
so the more people that send in, the more the prize pool increases. If we get up to 5, Weller 12 is activated. And if we get up to 7, then whatever Cole just said is activated.
Straight rye from E.H. Taylor.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, if you guys are feeling like sending us a gift, which is just tradition these days, hit us up on Instagram, get our addresses. If you want to surprise us somehow, reach out to Robbie Dedlow, RDedlow, and he'll send you our addresses. And that's on Instagram at @rdedlow. And he'll send you guys our addresses, but just feel free to reach out to either us or Robbie. Or if you're not on Instagram, hit us up at chillfilteredpodcast@gmail.com. We'll send you our addresses. And that's that. I'm excited for that. So
me too.
Let's get into our history today. I printed out our history and my printer broke. So that's all good. So we've done Maker's Mark a good few times on the podcast. We actually, like I said, it was like episode like 271 or something like that was Robbie's last episode, but it was Maker's Mark Cellar Aged 2023. I wanted to give some history, just general Maker's Mark history, not like random facts like we did last time. But just go through it chronologically of like some fun things from Maker's Mark over the years. So apparently in 1784, the Samuels family began distilling in Kentucky. 1784. That's as old as our country plus a few years. And then in 1953, many moons later, a man named T. William, also known as Bill Samuels Sr., buys the Burke's Distillery in Loretto, Kentucky. He wanted to create a bourbon that is smooth, approachable, easy to drink, and unlike the harsh, rye-heavy bourbons common at the time.
Nice.
And then in 1954, 1 year later, production began at the distillery with a focus on wheat as the secondary grain instead of rye. Bill Samuels and his wife Margie famously used a bread baking experiment with different grains of like mash bills, basically, in the bread baking to say, hey, what tastes better and what would taste better in a whiskey. So they decided that wheat was the answer to get the perfect flavor profile. A few years later, in 1958, the first bottles of Maker's Mark are sold from the beginning with their distinctive red wax seal, which is a Margie Samuels joint. She was the one who decided that. They said it would be a little bit more fancy that way, which follows up, the premium product kind of feel. In the 1960s and 70s, Maker's Mark gained popularity with the tagline, "It tastes expensive and is." Funny old little tagline there. 1981, the distillery is sold to a conglomerate, Hiram Walker and Sons. And then 6 years later, in 1987, Hiram Walker and Sons is acquired by Seagram's. After Seagram's breakup in 2001, Maker's Mark is then acquired by Allied Domecq. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
I've never even heard that before.
CQ, and I hadn't either. And I had to look them up. And they were at one point the second largest whiskey, or at least spirits conglomerate in the world. until
Dang.
they were acquired by Pernod Ricard.
Dang. So
But
many
Makers at that
acquisitions.
point Makers at that point was then sold to Fortune Brands. But then that was in 2005. In
Goodness.
2011, Fortune Brands splits and its beverage business becomes Beam Incorporated, which later and nowadays is known as Beam Suntory, or Suntory Beam, either way. And then Bill Samuels Jr. in 2011, who had been running the distillery, retired, and his son Rob Samuels.
Yo, Rob.
He took over. So these days, Maker's Mark continues to be popular and respected as a bourbon brand, known for their weeded bourbon taste and iconic red wax seal. They have expanded their offerings over the years to include things like Maker's 46, which is French oak stave finish, as well as Maker's Mark Cask Strength, which is actually decent for a weeded cask strength.
Totally.
And then in 2023, Maker's Mark put out Cellar Aged, which is a blend, at the time was a blend of 11 and 12-year Maker's distillate. It was first aged in typical Maker's warehouses, but then was moved to in a temperature-controlled limestone cellar for the remaining years of its aging. That was the 2023 release. Today we're drinking the 2024 release. What makes 2024 special? It is basically the same deal, aged somewhat in the Maker's rick houses, but then they bring the barrels down to the limestone cellars where it is more cool and more humid. This specific release is 85% 13-year, 15% 12-year, so it's an upgrade from last year. Secondly, it's a proof upgrade since last year, but last year's cask strength proof was 115.7. This year's is 119.3. So a little bit higher. Weeded recipe bourbon, as always. That's the Maker standard. Retail, it went up from last year. Last year was 150. This year is 175.
Nice.
Let's crack it.
Yeah. And I forgot to shout out, you gave me the shout out of sending in the one last year. That was actually Bryan and David.
What a ballers.
So, yeah. Turnaround shout out through me to Bryan and David. And actually, I still have one more sample from Bryan and David that they gave me one extra one, and it's been sitting in my my long-term storage bin and waiting for this moment right here. So I'm going to be drinking last year's alongside this year's.
Oh, that's a good idea. Do you ever hear the quote in which what's his name? Isaac Newton said when he was talking about his accomplishments in life? He said,
no.
"I was standing on the shoulders of giants." Was the thing. So how you got such notoriety and fame on the podcast was you were standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yes.
But you're also pretty cool, I guess.
Notoriety and fame really sums up the Chill Filtered Host gig. Huge. I mean, no question.
Hey, sometimes we get free whiskey.
that actually sums it up. And you know what else sums it up?
Ooh, and that's this year's? You just popped?
Yeah, that was this year's. This year's Cork Pop, very light and mellow, not very loud. Could be better. Yeah, not the best Cork Pop.
Yeah. On the nose, I'm getting a lot of alcohol vapors, but also a nice, strong cherry note. Off the nose. But I can't do my average sniff. It's gonna rock me if I do. Hey, we got a new member.
I know, right? Boom.
Nice. Look at that.
Just got a notification here. Shout out to Chasing Bourbon. Bryan, I'm not going to say his last name, I guess. But anyway, another Bryan. Yeah. Chasing Bourbon. He has his own whole deal that he's got a Patreon too. I mean, obviously I'm going to rep his Patreon now, which I'm a member of. Get in there because he does a lot of picks. He does a lot of not giveaways, but he'll if he happens upon a case of Elmer T. Lee, he'll turn them around at cost and run a raffle so that you can be part of the raffle to be able to buy something cool at cost and everything. So check out Chasing Bourbon.
Let's check them out. Yeah, thanks so much, Whiskey and Bourbon, for following us. That literally just happened. So what a
I
ball.
am I'd love to think that I would also say cherries on the nose here also.
Yeah,
This
like
I mean,
it's almost like fresh, dark cherries. Yeah.
yeah, fresh is a great word there because there's some tart bite to these cherries.
Mhm.
Again, just on the nose. This it's definitely a bright. I like maybe I get the dark to me is not dark cherry. It's chocolate.
Mm,
It's not as musty chocolate as that Lost Recipe one is,
mm.
but there's totally chocolate here with cherries.
So I just took a sip and the cherries continue. And I'm not talking maraschinos here. I'm talking fresh, dark cherries. Sweet dark cherries. Um, but there is this weird not note or anything. It's just I wish the proof were a little more tame. It is a
Yeah.
little punchy in the proof and it kind of interferes with the flavor. It's almost like, hey, I'm getting this really great dark cherry note, but then it's like, too hot, too hot, too hot. It's weird.
Yes. Totally agree. That is ethanol sting in the back of the throat for
Mm.
me. The nice palate notes totally get overtaken by ethanol sting on that sip.
Even if you like prep for it and you try not to bring a lot of oxygen in your, palate, it's still hot. Like, it's hard to avoid that heat. But it's still, I actually, from recollection, the good notes that I'm getting in terms of take away the alcohol burn, the good notes I'm getting on this guy are actually better in general than the 2023 that I remember having. But it's just that you got to get around that burn, and it's hard to get around that burn.
I totally agree. I just sipped the end nose, of course, the
Um,
2023. The 2023 has a nicer nose. The
okay.
2023 is a little more dark musty. It's a little more dank and sugary sweet. And then on the
Mm.
palate, it's got like a more funky.
Oh,
I actually think if I were to guess which one was a little older, I would guess
uh-huh.
that the 2023 is a little older
Nice. Okay.
because it is just a little more, I guess, musty is the right word here,
Mhm.
and it doesn't have as much of that ABV sting on the back. But I didn't
Mm.
even think of it that way till you said that. I totally agree that the front of the palate, bright
Yeah.
cherry stuff going on the 24 is more fun than the 23.
It's hard to get that like Midwest cherry note. And for those who know about like Michigan black cherries, that's what I'm getting here. Like what do they call it? Like Saginaw cherries or something. I don't even know. Um
You know, I'm not
but
surprised the pie man himself knows so much about
dude,
cherries.
I made a crazy pie once with cherries. But anyway. But
Crazy pie.
anyway. It was like balsamic cherry pie. It was crazy.
That's
I have a
dude.
picture of it. Yeah.
Sam loves balsamic
You
vinegar
might like this
on
cherry
drizzled on
pie.
whatever. Dude, yeah.
Like a
I bet you
good
would.
balsamic, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I remember you guys talked about, the Cellar Aged 23 and the Cellar Aged 24 versus that Lost Recipe and the
Yeah.
Lost Recipe 1. I'm curious what a little water will do to this. Proof it
Yeah.
down a little bit. Might actually take away that burn. But I really dig these cherry notes. Like I don't know, like I can talk about dark berry notes for like Wild Turkey Distillery and stuff like that, but that's not what I'm getting here. I'm getting like dark, sweet cherry notes and like beautiful, but it's like that proof is what's bothering me. So we'll
And
see.
that's with water. You've done water already?
Not yet. I'm doing it right now.
Oh, nice. I just dropped my
I
drops.
can
Kind of
smell
medium
it.
amount of water. I did like
Yeah.
3 drops and a half ounce here. I did, from the 23 going back to
Mm.
the 24, today's pour. Um,
Mhm.
the 24, man, that heat on the
Mhm.
back end is just too much. Like which is the better whiskey? I think the
Yeah.
2023 is the better
Yeah.
whiskey, but that 2024 is still super fun. But the
Yeah.
heat is a little too much. I went and sipped the Lost Recipe now,
Uh-huh.
and comparatively, the Lost Recipe is way less cherry and way
Mhm.
more chocolate. So if you like a
Nice.
good chocolate note on a whiskey, you're gonna love the
Yeah.
Lost Recipe.
So Real quick. Speaking of Patreon, we are like one step closer to butt chugging a Macallan. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah. Because
Yes.
Jim Mathwig and Chasing Bourbon just went on the flask tier.
I forgot about
So yeah, get ready for a lot of
Yeah.
prepping for Macallan 18 up my butt.
Yeah, live streamed from Cole's bathroom.
Yeah, with
Full
just
view
the
of the
streamed
bathtub.
audio, or it'll be the view of the shower curtain or something like that, and I'll be like, "Oh!"
That scream. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, gonna get you. But what do you think? Have you tried it with the ice pour yet?
I am on water, and I saw you look
I'm
up. I
sorry,
wondered
the
if
water pour.
no, 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 no. I knew what you meant. I wondered if you heard Emma scream. She went, "Wah," and you
Did you hear
looked up
me
and
go, "Woo!"
yeah, I know, right? She was like, "Did someone say butt chug Macallan?"
Yeah.
Okay,
Trigger for kids.
drops. On the nose, I'm getting more like carameliness.
Mhm.
I'm not as much bright fruit anymore. It's mellowed
Uh-huh.
out on the nose. I never really got much heat on the nose. I did really like the nose of this in general, so it's not like it like took any heat away necessarily, but it did
Uh-huh.
mellow it out a lot. I think the chocolate and the fruit is kind of meeting in the middle, and it's more just like a caramely,
Mhm.
barely fruit kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a hard one with water. It does take away some of the burn, but the palate does change. It turns like you mentioned, a little bit chocolate, a little bit. To me, it's a little bit more dark berries as opposed to cherries. Um, Still good. I was really hoping the burn would go away and the cherries would complete itself. Like it would just be the
Yeah.
perfect cherry mess. But it's not. I actually think I prefer the neat pour, um, even with the lack or the lessened proofage. I think I prefer the that cherry note, even with the proofage going a little too high. Yeah.
I totally do, and maybe this is just a
Mhm.
drink this after you've had another pour already, eat
Yeah.
kind of thing, so that you'll tolerate that burn a little more. I don't think this is your first drink of the night kind of whiskey,
Mhm.
because of that extra burn. Like
Yeah.
maybe that's where this thrives. But I dropped a couple more drops just to see if I
Okay.
like overwater it a little bit. What's it gonna do? So I'll give that a go here now.
I just dropped a cube. And giving it the old spin J. The mat job.
There's like no fruit on the
On
palate
the
with
ice pour or the water
on
pour.
the extra water pour.
Oh, gotcha.
There's like no fruit. Yeah,
Fruit, baby.
give me that
Oh,
fruit.
look at those legs.
Second cork pop. Yeah, weak.
What a
Weak.
what a nice cork pop.
No, not at
Yo,
all.
are you seeing these legs?
I'm about to.
Like
I
one
actually never
leg.
looked. I never looked for legs that first
Not
time
until
around.
the accident.
Yeah, not till I needed a new set of
Yeah.
legs.
Yeah. All
I
right.
will
Give me the
say,
old
man,
spin J.
it's one of my favorite looking bottles.
It's a
And
kind of
this
classy
like
bottle.
the like I don't know if it's like hammered steel. It's like it looks
Yeah.
like hammered. I don't know if
Mhm.
anyone hammers glass. I kind of doubt it, but it's
Yeah.
got that like hammered look
Yeah.
to it.
Dimpled.
Dimpled. Yeah, lightly dimpled. I like it. Everybody loves
Mhm.
dimples.
Mhm. Especially on
Sam,
cute babies.
I know. Sam's hoping Emma gets my dimples.
Nice. Yeah, you do have some strong dimples. Never noticed that. Wow, that's like
I'm
grease.
smiling extra hard. Yeah, no, I'm sure if I was maybe at some point I will smile genuinely on the show and you'll get a good
Nice.
look. Maybe,
Yeah.
but no more.
If I
Or
ever
I
make
just
you happy.
won't smile for the rest of
Yeah.
the duration now.
Yeah.
Man, I'm
Forever.
swirling in ice.
So okay, I've taken a sip already with ice. And it's a little bit like scattered. It's weird.
Big caramel fruit on the nose with ice for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's definitely a very pleasant kind of syrupy nose. Yeah, you know when you just pour like syrup in your nose, it's just like that.
Like maple syrup?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just sipped it. It's just like totally fine.
Messy. Yeah.
It's there's nothing particularly exciting about it with ice. It's just like you fixed it. You fixed this whiskey by adding ice so that it's like totally drinkable and all the harsh edges are gone, but it didn't like bring out anything extraordinarily pleasant with ice.
Yeah. It's aight. It's aight. Yeah, I don't like it with ice. It's just weird. Like I said, it's scattered.
It's got a little Tootsie Roll musty chocolate.
Yep, I was about to say synthetic sweetness.
Yeah.
Which is never my favorite note for sure.
Yeah. I just love when things are artificially sweetened with like synthetic sugar, whatever, chemicalized in a lab. Chemicalized is definitely a word.
Chemicalized hard.
Yeah. The chemicalization is just on point here.
Super hard. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna have to be a neat pour for me, despite the strong. That's too bad. You know, it's like crazy. It's like if this didn't have the burn, oh baby, this would be a killer whiskey, like 9.3, 9.4 probably to me.
Man, even going back to 2023, it's just not it's not hitting me the way I like to be hit.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite quotes there. Yeah. Man, it's just fine to me. And I guess thinking about rating here, pull up the old rating scale. What are you thinking?
I'm gonna go numbers first. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna give it a bad rating. I think this is an 8.8 easily. Definitely not as good as last year because of that burn. But those fresh, sweet, dark cherry notes are amazing. So I gotta meet somewhere in the middle. 8.8 for me.
Nice.
And then maybe B plus.
Yeah. I'm in the B's, I think also, but I'm B minus. It's in my good level because it's not the level just below this is average, gets lost. I don't think this gets lost among other whiskeys in my cabinet, that it's like forgettable, just average with everything else. I do think I'm with you on the cherry note. I think that's super fun and I really enjoy it. And the negative here is like a heat, is like a burn. There's not it's not something that is like disgusting. It's just something that like makes you be like, whoo, okay, like it's so that's kind of B minus for me. The positive, memorable features, like I'll remember about this. So I think that just sets it one bar above just average for me.
Yeah.
So I'm B minus, which I don't know, low eights, I guess, on the number scale, but B minus.
It's a darn shame because it was so close to being great.
You would think the potential here is so great. You would think it would be better than this.
I mean, a 13-year makers, like that's unheard of. Like I mean, it's technically a 12-year because it's the minimum.
Right.
Like 13-year, and it's 85% 13-year, which is impressive.
But like literally unheard of, because it was a principle of Maker's Mark to not
age
overage anything.
Or what did they say? Their phrasing was bottle it when it's ready. And
exactly.
Don't worry about it. Like don't worry about the age itself. Bottle it when it's ready, which is usually about 6 years. But yeah. So let's now that we've rated it, we'll skip over to the next segment of the show, a segment that we like to call Whiskey World News.
All right, welcome back. This is Whiskey World News. Today we are gonna read. Is it an article? I don't know. I took it from a web page. I took it from Instagram. It is a press release from Delbach. I never miss an opportunity here to announce the release of Ode to Islay. They just announced this year's Ode to Islay here. They teased it on Instagram. They said coming soon. It will be in distribution in early December here, but apparently it's live now on the website. If you go,
I bought one already.
Whiskey Delbach. If you go to their shop, you can find it on there. They talk all about the 2024 Ode to Islay on there. So let me read you here what they say. They say, first off, on Instagram, Ode to Islay batch 3 drops first Saturday of December. So formally the winter release. Ode to Islay is Whiskey Delbach's homage to our heavily mesquited roots. We raise a glass in honor of the heavily peated single malts of Islay, but utilizing the distinctly southwestern ingredient of velvet mesquite. I almost said mystique.
Like velvet mesquite. Revolver, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a band, right?
It is a band.
Okay, good. Because
I said Velvet Underground.
Yeah, I love Velvet Underground. Yeah.
Nice.
Ode to Islay is a more substantially smoked version of our Dorado American single malt whiskey, initially aged in new American white oak barrels, and then blended with a unique mix of casks and finishes every year. The 2024 batch of Ode to Islay has a backbone of high spice rye barrel finishes, bolstered with small additions of Sauterne and Pinot de Charente finishes in the blend. Bottles will also start hitting retailer shelves in Arizona, New York, Texas, Utah. Can you believe it?
Utah. They're not a dry state, but they're basically a dry state.
Yeah, they're a dry state, but they're suckers for Delbach, apparently. Colorado, Illinois, and California. Second week of December 2024. Check with your local retailer, and if they don't have it, ask them to bring it in. We do know it should be available at Total Wine and More, Trevor's, and AJ's if you have those in your area. So now you might have keyed in on something I said here.
Oh, I might not have.
Bolstered with small additions of Sauterne and Pinot de Charente finishes in the blend. So, do those sound familiar to you?
Yeah, we tried barrels when we visited, and I know want to say that they didn't bottle it, or they didn't even unbarrel it until after we visited. So
maybe they let us sample the
at least.
Components. The individual, like straight from the Pinot de Charente barrel, straight from the Sauterne barrel. We got to try those components individually while we were there, because Mark Viertaler is the man.
A baller. And shout out to him, but also shout out to so I saw their responses to the nice.
I got the Delbach Glencairn right here. Yeah, I could have been using it this whole time.
Oh, nice. So what
you saw their response.
I was following they posted on Instagram saying, hey, we released it, you know, it's real. And someone responded and like, how do you compare this to batch 2? And he's like, more smoky. And I'm like, hey, darn right. So I'm excited. And we're going to do an episode. And we hopefully, I can't promise, but I'm hoping to have Mark Viertaler on for that.
Yeah. So party with Mark, man. I'm excited. We don't we've asked Delbach so many technical questions. Like, I want to have Mark on, and I just want to
so many good questions though.
I want to chat about life, man.
Yeah. But even at the tour we did at Delbach, it's like the tour.
You emphasized it very clearly.
The Rip Torn. So he answered so many great questions, and he's so willing to answer good questions. I don't know how else to put it, but he doesn't hold back, and he doesn't he's not sourcing. I mean, I guess he is sourcing a little bit for the Sentinel, but it's not like he's held by these NDAs for certain things. He's willing to tell you, and he's the type of guy, honestly, that's hey, rising tides, rise all ships or whatever the phrasing is. I don't even
That's
know.
it. Nailed it.
That's
Yeah.
it. Rise all to all the ships and stuff. Yeah. But like he's the type of guy that's not afraid to like share his learnings as opposed to
Yeah.
secrets. Like
Yeah.
he's an awesome dude. So
And that's
hopefully we'll
what,
have him on.
I hear that a lot in
Mhm.
interviews with other master distillers and things.
Mhm.
Master distillers and like people love to share their craft in the whiskey
Yeah.
community. It sounds
What
like
they learned.
people really learn from each other a lot in the
Yeah.
whiskey community, and I love that
Mhm.
so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been around for a while, Mark,
I
and,
remember,
yeah,
when
he
we were
knows what he's
down
doing.
there,
Mhm.
your drinking buddy on YouTube,
Yeah,
uh, I
Josh.
I remember him asking a particular question to Mark
Mhm.
that was like, you always tread the line. You're not sure how to phrase things sometimes when
Mhm.
it's like, you might not be able to tell me this, but like blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Or like, where's the
Mhm.
source from or whatever. And I remember him saying, I remember Mark saying something to the effect of like, I don't get asked questions that I can't answer very often, but that's
Yeah,
one of them.
that's funny.
So we got to do better at asking Mark questions he can't answer.
Yeah. Mhm. When we were at the distillery, though, I remember there was a ladder that had a sticker on it that said, "No, Paul." Or
No,
I'm
Paul.
sorry, no,
Like,
Steven. No, Steven.
like
Uh,
he's not allowed to get on the ladder.
yeah, exactly, which is,
Yeah.
like, so funny to me. It's like,
They
no
had a
like, Stephen
lot.
Paul, the founder of Whiskey Del Bach, um, like, was not allowed on that ladder.
That's so funny. The when Mark was doing the tour and he was
Mhm.
explaining about their uh I don't remember the name for it, but the heating source that you halt the
Yeah.
malting barley in.
Oh, I forget the
Um,
word he uses, yeah.
when we were over there in
Heating
that
coil.
area,
Yeah.
Max and I were like all the way at the back. We were like
Mhm.
in the peanut gallery in the back, and we were just like looking around and kind of doing our own thing back
Yeah.
there. And we were reading. Somebody had like sharpied on the side of the some like plexiglass area,
Yeah.
like the rules of Del Bach. Number one, you must whatever whatever. Rule
Yeah.
number two, you have to yell out something if you're in trouble, and it
That's
was
right.
something hilarious, like
Boy or
tally
something like
ho.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. I don't remember what it
Yeah,
was, but yeah. Anyway, we were
I
like
like
reading
that.
all their little, the little details that
Mhm.
must, make life really fun for the people that work at Del
Yeah,
Bach.
for sure. Shout out to Stephen Paul, Amanda
Yeah.
Catherine Paul, to Mark Viertaler, and Dustin, who are
Yeah,
all
Dustin
involved with all
Cox.
this stuff. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, Dustin Cox, yeah. Mhm.
Yep.
So,
That was Dustin
mhm.
Cox and Mark. Those were the two guys that kind of spearheaded the Bottle and Bond release, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I met Dustin,
Oh,
I think.
cool.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, on the first visit we ever did to the distillery.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
and, yeah, they're doing good stuff out there.
Yeah, for sure. As
So if
always.
you're a listener and you have yet to try, Whiskey Del Bach, this is your best chance, is Ode to Isla online, selling through whatever. Like, I got it in Virginia, and Virginia is a hard state to ship to. So if you're online and you care about good whiskey, go to Ode to Isla or go to Whiskey Del Bach's website and buy their Ode to Isla. Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to odeisla.com right now. Does
Ode
this
to
exist?
Isla.com/chill filtered. Yeah. Mhm.
Odetisla.com does not exist. We could buy that sucker, Cole.
Dude, we could buy it and sell Ode to Isla from it. Yeah.
Just turn it
Yeah.
around for a
Yeah, just
profit.
help them out. Yeah.
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 As
So,
if they needed help, yeah.
exactly. Um, all right. We got results
Yes,
from last week's What Whiskey Would You Choose?
we do.
Do
And
we?
we asked
Okay, cool.
you
And
on
I think I
Instagram.
won.
Well,
Maybe
last
not.
week.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. You
Okay.
won it.
Nice. Thanks,
we
listeners.
we asked you on Instagram, which pick would you be more excited to buy? Which single
Nice.
barrel interests you more if you saw both of these on the shelf, if you saw an Eagle Rare pick, or if you saw
Dude.
a Driftless Glen
That
Rye
beautiful
pick?
sticker on it.
Yeah, which would you pick? And people
And it was
chose.
close
It was pretty close.
for
Yeah.
good reason.
Yeah,
Driftless Glen is putting out good ryes, especially. Yeah.
that's very true. But Eagle Rare did win 59 to 41%. And I'll tell you what,
Here's the
shout out
beauty.
shout out to Wayne. Shout out to our lovely
Yeah.
Patreon supporter Wayne. He texted me. He was like, "Hey, by the
Uh-huh.
way, I'm voting for Eagle Rare this week." So
Uh-huh.
as much as it pained my little heart, I had to go in there and I gave my vote to Eagle Rare for
Nice.
Wayne.
Here's the fun thing is that like our chances of getting a Sazerac pick are much less than getting the Driftless Glen pick, especially for the 2025 Chill Filtered meetup, which will
Right.
likely be in the north, maybe be in around Madison.
Yeah.
So yeah, just
Unofficial, unannounced
that's what we're thinking. We're
2025.
thinking Madison.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
shout out to Ben Klepsig, who's and
Ooh.
Caleb Olson and some other amazing listeners out there. But
Yeah. Ben
yeah, we've got
Klepsik
some good
said
people.
everyone's free to come stay at his house. He
His
can
place,
house
yeah.
all of us. Yeah,
He's
he's
got a
got
barn in his backyard,
yeah, we can yeah, we can all stay in the
dude.
barn.
Summer times in Wisconsin, dude. It is amazing. Like you haven't traveled too much to the north,
Actually, I have
and
not.
yeah,
No.
and Wisconsin blows my mind in how cool it is
Nice.
compared
That's
to
awesome.
what I expected it to be. Yeah.
Literally, I'm sure.
Mm.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it is
that
pretty
whole
cool.
like Minnesota down
Mhm.
past Chicago and
Yep.
all the Indiana, Ohio stuff,
They
and
call it
then
the Midwest, Brian.
what Kansas is Midwest too.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The upper Midwest. Yeah.
Midwest is a huge like how
Yeah.
does this even make sense area? But
Oh,
anyway, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, don't you know
Oh,
that the
yeah, don't you
Midwest?
know?
Yeah, all that northern stuff though, I'm
Yeah.
like, I've seen a lot of the United States. I've never seen up
Mhm.
there. So
Dude, it
2025
is a
Madison, Wisconsin.
gem, hidden gem, the
I'm
Midwest, the
sure.
upper Midwest, yeah.
Yeah. And especially, time it right with the weather and everything. Does sound lovely. But nonetheless, doesn't matter about feasibility. The question was which would be more excited to buy. So good
Yep.
to know. Good to know. We'll
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
save that
uh-huh.
data point here in our pocket for future barrel picks. But we also
Totes,
asked
totes.
right in, just like dream big. What do you think? What single barrel should we do? What barrel pick should we do? Kilted
Mhm.
518 Miles Ferguson says Garrison Brothers get back on their
Yeah.
good side.
Yeah, exactly. So they will send us stuff again after these
Oh,
gotten
that's so
Ray.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go in for a barrel pick and they're like, we saved our crappiest barrels for you guys.
Yeah.
No, I'm
That'd be
kidding.
funny.
I'm kidding.
Like,
They
yeah,
wouldn't do
try
that.
these
I'm just
3
teasing.
barrels that we were about to throw out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're all like syrup and
Yeah.
oaky.
Mhm. Yeah.
We got a couple write-ins from the lovely Ben Klepsik. He says Jay Henry, which is interesting.
Also a Wisconsin, brand, yeah.
Of course, that's why he
Mhm.
said it. He said, does Kings County or Westland do barrel picks or Del Bach? Yes, Del Bach does
Ooh,
barrel
Delbach
picks.
definitely does. I'm sure
Kings
Westland does.
County, Kings County does single barrels.
Nice.
Yeah, Westland. I actually have a Westland single barrel down there
Ooh.
from Pitch. So yeah, all of them do. Kings County would be super awesome because
That would be cool.
I really like the Kings County stuff. It's like
Brooklyn, baby.
somehow it has the like southern climate, like
Nice.
viscosity and concentration of flavor
Yeah.
being in New York. It's
Yeah.
impressive. And then he also doubled down, Ben Klepsik, he doubled down on Driftless Glen Rye Cast Strength.
Yeah,
Like,
heck yeah.
obviously,
Dude,
that is the
especially a rye.
natural.
Like, they do good bourbons, sure, but their
Yeah.
ryes are candy and spicy.
I did try the low
Mhm.
proof bourbon one time.
Okay.
Again, shout out to your drinking buddy on YouTube. He gave
Nice.
me a little bit of that 100 proof, low proof bourbon,
Yeah.
and it was good. I got a good banana note on it. I
Nice.
really liked it. But
That's cool.
obviously, if I'm picking from them, I'm picking a rye.
Yeah.
Marco and AZ wrote in. He says, Wilderness Trail, also a
Heck yeah.
duh pick. Heck yeah, we need
Next
to do that.
episode.
I know, right? Yeah, we'll chat about that here in a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Or Wild Turkey, of course, Found North, though. We're going to keep the
Heck
Found
yeah.
North train running as long as Found North wants to keep that train
Yeah.
running with us.
Yeah.
480
Yo, if
Whiskey
they
wrote
offered us
in.
another next week, I'd be like, heck yeah.
I know, right? Well, actually, huge side note tangent out earlier. I was like, when am I going to make this fit in the episode? I'm making this fit right now in the episode. Found North single barrel, flying off the figurative shelf here. We we didn't plan this. We didn't purposefully make a recent reentry buzz a Found North like on purpose. We genuinely had no idea. It just worked out. And so we just happened to mention in that episode that we're doing a single barrel pick with Found North. Hit us up for the link if you want in on that.
A lot of
we
people
have had multiple write-ins on Instagram of people we've never even chatted with before writing in and and asking.
Now you know, love us.
Yeah, so please, anyone, continue to write in because I'm firing off the link for this single barrel left and right, and we're rapidly approaching like a third of the barrel reserved already. And I even sent a message to Sealbox, and I was like, "Hey guys, is there a maximum amount of this barrel we can reserve? Because like the number is like shooting up on this." Totally. They haven't messaged me back yet, so I'm like a little worried, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
Seals. No, I'm kidding. They're great.
Yeah, I know. Turns out more interest, more bottles sold to the chill filtered community than I anticipated.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Good on you. Dings for everyone all around. Dings for the chill filtered community.
That was a really good ding right here.
That was a really good ding. I like that. Sounded like a crystal ding, man.
Maybe a Waterford crystal ding.
Yes. Yeah. Is that Waterford I hear? All right. Back to, so I guess, you know, just in summary, please write in. If you're interested in the chill filtered single barrel, no pressure to buy anything. We're not on the hook for anything, but if you want one,
which makes it more valuable because it's like, hey, we don't need to sell it. We're just going to rep it. So,
yeah. No pressure at all. We're not going to force you to buy two of these in order to guarantee that you get a Blanton's Gold pick or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, 480 Whiskey, he wrote in, he said, Southern Start Paragon Weeded. Have you ever heard of this before, Cole?
No.
Me neither. And I did not Google it before now. So Cole's going to furiously Google it now, but Southern Start Paragon Weeded is a new one to me. And I'll read the last one here real quick. Whiskey Shaman wrote in from Texas. He wrote in all the way from Texas.
That's all hard
the way
to
from
do.
Texas. Yeah. And he said Cedar Ridge, which is also a new
Iowa,
one to
baby.
me. Oh,
no, that's Iowa. Yeah.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Did you learn anything about
they were the ones that did the Slipknot single barrel or whatever like release they did with Slipknot.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, this week
from Iowa.
Slipknot's from Iowa?
I believe so.
Yeah, Google that. Very important. Let's make sure we inform our viewers where Slipknot's from.
Not from Des Moines. Yeah, I was right.
Very good. Okay. All right. Cool.
We'll do the Midwest. The Western Midwest.
Right. So stay tuned for a future announcement for the Chill Filtered X Slipknot single barrel release.
We'll work with Corey Taylor ourselves.
Coming soon. Yeah. All right. But this week we have a new question for you.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I haven't even thought of what my answer is yet. So I'm going to make you ramble first, Cole.
Okay.
The question is, what do you hope to receive from your Secret Sampla this year? When you sign up, when we send out this link later this week, because it's happening later this week, what do you hope to receive from your Secret Sampla this year?
And keep in mind, listeners, that like the people that are gifting you might actually try to help you out in this realm. Like if, you know, Bryan Duncan, for example, were listening to this, he'd be like, whoever I'm sending to, I'm interested in who they or what they might want. And maybe I can, you know, push my, direction of the.
And on top of that, we, in the poll that we send out to match our Secret Sampla people, we ask, like, is there something you're really hoping for? And then also we ask, like, is there stuff you have on your shelf that's like super awesome that you're willing to share? So that if those two answers line up, 100%. We are matching those two people together. So that person receives their pamphlet about you, where you said you really want a sample of Pappy 20, and then that guy's like, perfect, I'm ready to share my Pappy 20,
baby. All right, here's my answer to this. Any Eagle Rare release, Eagle Rare 17 release.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
But I would love many other things. But like, if someone's willing to share with me any year of Eagle Rare 17, I'm there.
You got to dream big. You got to dream big, because we might match you with somebody who has that. 100%.
So sign up when we put our survey out pretty soon.
Yeah.
What is yours?
Mine's weird. Mine's vague. I don't know how I'm going to build this on Instagram, but what mine is I hope to receive a single barrel, like barrel pick, that's just like funky and weird. Just funky, like
weird.
Something that's like unique, something local to your area. I want to try stuff from somewhere across the United States that's like, what the heck? I've never even heard of this before. And
that's one of our categories.
Right? Oh no, it's off camera.
Was it Floki?
If somebody sent me Floki sheep dung smoked whiskey, or something of that level of weirdness, dude, sign me up. I just want to try weird stuff. Please send me weird stuff. That's my request.
Do you what was I thinking? Yeah, I mean, like, our listeners out there and the people that'll sign up for the Secret Sampla, I hope this gets huge. Like one day I hope this is like 100 people sign up.
I know.
And then I'll butt chug another Macallan.
I know. And I will revel in the hours it takes me to match people with people who have what they want.
Yeah, I love it.
I just, it sounds so much fun. Sign me up.
For sure. Yeah. And like, we'll try to make everyone's day. So yeah, sign up this year. Yeah, it's gonna be dope. I mean, like, honestly, I got some killer stuff last year from Bryan Duncan. Actually, was my gifter, or my sender. And who did you get from?
I got from, oh my gosh, I don't remember. I'm a terrible person. Yeah, I'll have to look. I don't remember
it later. But who'd you send to? Do you
remember? Oh no, it's John Hughes.
Friggin' John Hughes.
Yeah, right. Colonel Hughes.
Yeah, Colonel John Hughes. John O. Hughes. Yeah.
He sent me the Knob Creek Sampla.
Nice.
The strange pour was, I just had it. But there was he sent me a 14-year single barrel store pick.
Nice.
It was 1969 Jim Beam decanter.
Oh, that's
something.
Right. Yeah,
he sent me an old as F Jim Beam.
Yeah, older than my Jim Beam.
Yeah, it was so good. And actually, funny enough, now that I've had yours and I've had his, like,
better.
Yeah, his was not vinegar or cloudy. Yours was.
His must not have been a screw top.
I gotta get you the rest of this so that you can send your Secret Sampla this much, just to make sure that they don't get lead poisoning. You just send them this much.
We'll skim it off the top. Hopefully the lead sinks to the bottom.
Perfect.
But no, and like, for the record, like, you're not, like, you're minimum allowed to send 4 samples, and Bryan Duncan sent me 8 last year, and it was amazing.
Minimum 4. Send those 4, and then just start lining them up for however much you want to send.
It's like Reddit Secret Santa, where you get, like, Bill Gates will join in, and like Flux Pavilion will join in, and all these ballers. Yeah. So, all right. Join us this year for Secret Sampla 2024. What are we drinking next week, Bryan?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Next week, when you tune in next week and this episode downloads in your feed, or you click on the YouTube channel, you will see us with Dr. Pat Heist from Wilderness Trail,
which we've been hoping would work out for a year plus, probably now. Yeah,
I know.
He was a baller.
I emailed them forever ago, and
Yeah.
then I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I did it. It's done,
Yeah.
whatever."
Mhm.
And
Can't
then
do it anymore. Yeah.
they followed up a couple months ago,
Yeah.
and we have been
Mhm.
planning this, and we were back and forth. Well, what do you want to drink? Well, here's, we're very
Yeah.
familiar with Wilderness Trail.
Yeah. We love
Our
it.
listeners are probably very familiar with Wilderness Trail because we
Yeah.
talk about it all the time.
Mhm.
So what's something that we could have that's something we've never had before?
Something new.
Well, look at this. Part of me doesn't even want to say it
Dude,
for the podcast
it's
crew
a
here.
rye, and it's
Uh, y-
7 years old, and it's bottled in bond.
If you're watching on YouTube,
Ballers.
you're like, okay, Wilderness Trail rye.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
rye.
it's got the green
Simple.
tag. I've seen
7
that before.
years.
No big deal. And then your eyes go up. Your eyes go up to that neck tag and you see
Yeah.
that gold foil and you see that shimmery 7 at the top and you
Shimmery 7.
realize this is the distillery only release of the 7-year bottled and bond rye.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that video online where this guy does this like backflip on roller skates, and he's like, "You may not like it, but this is the peak form of masculinity," or something like that. Like I forget what he says, but like, "You may not like it, but this is the peak form of whiskey right here. 7-year bottled and bond rye from Wilderness Trail." Yeah.
Please post the roller skate deal to
Oh, it's going
Discord after
down.
this.
Yeah, it's going down.
But anyway,
Yeah.
you notice that there's some missing out of the top
Yeah.
here. I had to turn around samples for Cole real quick, but
Yeah.
also there was some of this was sipped already,
Mhm.
not by me. I was waiting for Cole to be like, "Damn you, why do you do this?" But no,
Yeah.
the other day, Sam and I were watching TV, and I was like, "Hey, you want some whiskey?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure, just pour me whatever."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm gonna pour her the 7-year Wilderness Trail bottled in bond rye,"
Ooh.
which
So you haven't had it yet?
I have never had it. I have never
Wow.
smelled it. I stayed true to my word. I did not even smell her Glen when I was walking it over to her.
Uh,
So Sam is the only person who has sipped this
wow.
so far.
I don't know anyone that's sipped this, like, outside of even the podcast. It's like,
I know.
it's a big deal. So we're excited. Dr. Pat Heist, I've been talking about him since our first episode on Wilderness Trail,
Yeah,
and they're
and
doing
if
great
you
stuff over
are
there. They're the scientists of the whiskey
dude,
world. Yeah.
mad yeast scientist, and if you are
Yeasty
a
boys.
yeah, I know. That's what the thumbnail's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
gotta be. If you
Yeah.
are a loyal Instagram follower of ours, you've
Yeah.
already seen we published a story of hey, we're interviewing Dr. Pat Heist, the infamous Dr. Pat Heist. Do you have any
Yep.
questions for him? And we
Yep.
did get many good write-ins.
Oh,
But if
good.
you're listening to this now and you realize like, oh crap, I missed the
Hit us
story, I
up by
missed the
Wednesday.
write-ins,
Yeah.
just send us a message on Instagram.
Yeah.
If you have a question for Dr. Pat Heist at Wilderness Trail, send it to us on Instagram and I will
Mhm.
include it in the interview in some
Stoked.
way or form.
Yeah. Mhm. No, that sounds great. All right. Well, I guess that's it. We've been doing well. We do great.
Yeah.
We do everything great. Thanks for listening. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. But I hope that those who aren't subscribed do subscribe.
Well, that's a good hope. Dang. I
Yes.
hope that we might not talk about like Thanksgiving next week because Thanksgiving's
Mm,
coming up real quick, but
yeah.
I hope everyone has a just terrific Thanksgiving. I hope everyone really cooks a good turkey and has some good food.
Heck yeah. I hope that my daddy-daughter date after this episode is gonna be amazing. And my daughter will be so stoked.
Love it.
Yeah. But most of all, listeners, viewers, all our good friends, I hope that our love of whiskey lifted your spirits.
Did someone say butt chug McAllen?